These little fish may all look the same, but they are actually unique individuals behaving in consistently different ways. Hi, I'm Amelia Munson, and I'm a graduate student here at the University of California, Davis, and I'm working with these three spined stickleback fish to figure out how individual differences in behavior, what some people might call personality, affect the ecosystem that an animal is a part of. We know that humans have personality. I, for example, consider myself a fairly social individual, and some of my friends are less social. We also think of our pets maybe as having personality. My dog, for example, not very social. What researchers are figuring out is that even little fish, like these stickleback, have consistent differences in their behavior. Some individuals are more exploratory or more aggressive, but what I care about is how social an individual is. Because fish that spend more times in groups may eat different things or respond to predators differently, and this can scale up and affect the ecosystem the fish is a part of. And it's not just the number of fish that matter. Fish working together in a group behave very differently than the same number of individuals on their own. Take this project, for example. I'm working with a diverse group of scientists in order to answer a big question that I couldn't answer on my own. The first step, though, is to get the fish into the lab.
So catching fish can be quite a difficult task. It's much harder than it actually sounds. So we use minnow traps to catch them. We bait these minnow traps. Sometimes you get them, sometimes you don't. So once we've collected the fish, we then bring them back to the lab, and we need to tag the fish. And we tag the fish because we want to be able to identify each individual.
Once the fish are tagged, we have to be able to ask them, how social are you? Which is hard because fish don't just answer a lot or a little.
So how we study the fish preference for larger or smaller groups of fish is we take fish and we put them into 2 glass jars, either in groups of 8 or groups of 2. And we put those glass jars into a larger tank filled with water. And take individual fish, put them in that arena, and we measure how much time they spend near one versus the other glass jar.
Now that we know how social our fish are, we put them in groups of 10 party animals and 10 fish that would rather stay home and read. Then we put these fish into mesocosms, big tanks that mimic the real world, but allow us some measure of control. This will allow us to ask, how does the different personalities of our fish affect the ecosystems that they're a part of?
So our goal is to make the mesocosms as real as possible. And to do that, we collect vegetation and invertebrates, which the fish can eat from their natural systems. And then after a month, we measure primary productivity and other variables to see how the fish are changing the ecosystem. And then after that 1 month period, we place predators in the mesocosms.
For now, we've just put the fish into their tanks, and so they're swimming around, eating and being little fish. We'll check back in a month to see what effect these little guys have on their ecosystems.